Welcome back to the Sound for More channel and welcome back to another tutorial and demonstration. Today I have the pleasure to introduce you to Oscidia from 4Pockets. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe as it helps with growing the channel. Additionally, if you like what you see and what I do, please do consider supporting the channel by following the instruction contained in each video description. Thank you again. So a new synth, a UV3 compliant. Of course, we are running it inside AUM at the moment, full screen. It's a WaveTable synth, but actually it is much more than that, and it has a very unique set of features. Really, I'm going to give you a bit of an overview today. There is really a lot to cover, and yeah, I might not go through every single controls, but certainly I will give you a bit of an idea. So starting from the top, click on preset, and here you have the usual access to preset management, so where you can create and manage banks, delete them, rename them. And you can see here we are on the default bank, and then inside each bank you have groups, and then for each group you have a preset. Now I have already played with this a little bit, and when you see a star I have my favorite, so let's try some of those in terms of what it sounds like, because when you get the synth, it is really important to understand what it sounds like. Interesting bass. Let's try another one with a sequence. Let's try this triggered bass. Okay, so you have a bit of an idea now in terms of bass. Let's try some keys. Interesting capability. Okay, let's go forward, try a few more. Some leads. Some portamento there with glide. Some, of course, are mono, some are not, are polyphonics. I thought to give you an example with raindrops because it really sounds great. You can do a lot with it, and not just wavetable synthesis, but you also have FM, you can do cross modulation, ring modulation, etc. Nice. And I should say that this is just Oscidia. It doesn't have any other additional effects. What you hear now is what you get when you purchase the synth. Let's try digital organ. Okay, let's try something with movement. I also like these soft strings, really nice. Really majestic as well. Something more percussive. And all of that was just holding just one key, because indeed you have a sequencer internally, which I will show you in a moment. Okay, so let's try some sequences then. And you can see there is movement here at the bottom. It's going through a number of steps, and there are 3 independent arpeggiators, which is quite nice. Of course, you can enable velocity or not. You can have it polyphonic, mono, and also legato. And if you have some notes which are stuck, press on phonic. And this is where you actually get it to mono, clicking on here. And this is where you can bounce between left and right channel. It's also great that you have a limiter here, which you can enable and disable. And if you click and hold on it, you can set the decibel as well for your output limiter. Again, I'm just holding one key, nothing really special, but you can hear the sequences. Let's try another one. Another one again. Okay, in this case I was trying to multiple notes and therefore create something like more of an arpeggiato effect through a chord. Great. Trance. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea. Remember where there is this symbol here on the corner, click and hold, and you have access to additional functionality. Like in this case, you can import and export the bank, which becomes really important, for example, to create your own banks and your own packs of preset. As I mentioned earlier, you can create your groups, delete them, rename them, and you can save, rename, and delete preset as well. Now you have a main menu here, and it's really great to see that there is an init preset option, so we can initialize and go back to the out-of-the-box settings. Again, you can see here again the chevron symbol. Click and hold here. You have access here, for example, to the color schemes, the knob schemes. You can also custom color editor. You can change shading effect, the background image as well if you wish so. Click and hold here again, you have access here to type the name of a preset to find, which is really cool, really great to have the feature as well. Here you have a meter as well. And then let's go further. So you have a number of tabs here, okay, at the top. The first one is performance. It's like a mixer, right? So you see here your amp envelope with your ADSR, your filter envelope, again ADSR for attack, decay, sustain, and release. Then you have the level output for 3 oscillators, oscillator 1, 2, and 3. So if I was to take these down, for example, you hear only oscillator 1, for which then you click on this tab where it says oscillator 1 so, because that is the waveform which is selected. We can go to square, triangle, SUPERSAW, which is 7 waves, SUPERSQUARE, similar to SUPERSAW, 7 waves. WaveTable, of course, with the ability to also import as well, to do warp mode, morphing as well. And you have a visualization here on the WaveTable, which you can also change in 3D. You can see I'm navigating through the wavetable in terms of changing those frames. Okay, and you can decide the warp level and the amount as well, and also the warp mode. There are a lot of different algorithms, so a lot to choose from. And then you also have additive synthesis as well, which includes also frequency modulation. You have two types as well. For each one, you can add a partial, okay, up to 16. You can change the inharmonicity, the level of harmonics as well, and the spectral tilt as well. So, goodness me, you can do a lot. I like really to go into FM mode because it gives you also, you can create that type of metallic glass type of sound really, really easily. And it changes a lot to changing the partial, of course. Second one. Of course, you can turn off an oscillator. You can go to sine wave, so square, etc., etc. You can also have option for wave folding as well, which is great. It's folding the wave in itself. It's really great. You can change the type of folding as well, which is great. Then you use the two in conjunction. Then you can do ring modulation between oscillator 1 and 2. Right, and of course you need to have these right on, okay, with the level as well. And of course it depends on the type of wave you have selected. You can also do cross modulation as well. You can change the coarse tuning in semitone, also sense as well. Double click to reset it to default. Really nice that is there as well. You can change the drive. And it's nice that you have the output limiter there. You can change the output level, the pan left and right. And you can also use LFO to change the frequency of the oscillator, so you can do frequency modulation. Okay, that's really good. Here you can select if you want it to trigger based on keys, and then if you want it to have on and or off, right? So in this case, we have oscillator number 1 and we have also oscillator number 2 active. So we could go to this second one and, for example, choose square. Perhaps we could go change the depth here. And the pulse width here as well. And you can change the coarse tuning as well and fine tuning. So you start to thicken that sound. You can make it really, really thick, right? You can add also sub oscillator. The waveform you can change here, sub mode to so. Here you can change the band range for your band level. You can add portamento and portamento glide if you want to have that on or off. You can add noise level, for which you have a lot of selection here in terms of noise mode, white, pink, brown, and also you can apply a filter as well, low pass, high pass, and band filter as well. And you can still do here LFO modulation as well, which is really, really good. And then of course you can adjust the width stereo. Now, underneath here, what you see is the first tab is an LFO. So you have 4 LFOs, which is absolutely fantastic. You can see them there. You can set them to retrigger or not based on key. You can change if you wanted to have as a one shot or not. If you wanted to sync the bit, and then you can change the type of waveform, sine, triangle, so up and down, square, and random. Then you can have note sync on, and if you want it bipolar or unipolar, right? And then here you can change the speed in bits if you want to add a delay, and then change an attack and the smoothness. Okay, so a lot of different controls. And when you set one up, what you have to do is you have to go to the metrics here, and which you can reset. You can also change the source mode as well, but I'll cover that in another tutorial. And then, for example, for LFO1 here, you click and hold, move up. You can set the influence, left and right. You can set the amount of modulation on the oscillator 1 pitch, for example, here. And then you can go back to LFO tab here and increase the speed, for example. Do a random. But that is just a simple example. So for every type, for LFO, for VCF, for the DSR here, which they're really good, you have the traditional amp here, the filter, and then you have ADSR 3 and 4. When you click each one of them, you can use the traditional one with the controls here, attack, decay, sustain, release, or you can go for a fluid one by where you can define it. Double click, and you can then create a node. Double click again, you can move it up and down, left and right. And if you double click on the same, you can actually remove it. And you can even define the area repetition. You can set in loop mode, ping pong mode, and then you have some default setting to have it run slow, default, or fast, which will change the envelope length in terms of seconds. So a lot of different options. In terms of VCF, a different type of filter here, your analog one, your Hobenheim here, your Moog ladder, a Formant one, and a Korg MS-20. Filter mode here, in terms of ramp, to 12 dB or 24 dB, then you can change your cutoff resonance, the enveloped amount, morphing as well. You have drive for the filter track as usual. Again, you can do LFO modulation, then low cut as well. You can change that. And of course, you have that visual up there. In terms of a DSR and fluid envelope generator, it's very simple, really. Just create something, and then let's say this one is ADS3. You go to the metrics, ADS3, okay, and then which is here, FEG3, and then you decide how you want that to change. So, for example, here. So you can hear that effect over there, right? Then you have a tab for effects as well. Let me remove it, actually. You can see some of them are already set by default, which is great. In terms of effect, you can add a reverb. You can decide to change the size, the dry and wet mix, the color, on and off, of course, for each of the effect. You can add the chorus. Digital delay, of course. Change the feedback, the delay, ping pong if you want it or not, time if in sync, yes or not, hash mode as well, which you can change the delay as well. And it's really good to have always a traditional, why not, stereo phaser to give that more movement sound. The part I really like is the sequencer. So you can enable it. You can have bit alignment. You can choose the bit per minute as well. You select the key and the scale as well. If you want to have a master reset, yes or not, which I will explain in another tutorial. You can randomize the late, move right and left as well here. You can change the between the free arpeggiator. There are three which works independently, and then underneath here you enable each one of them, right? Because some can be enabled, some might not be enabled. You can change the speed here, transpose it up and down, the step mode, forward, backward, etc. in terms of direction. The octave spread, if you wanted to go up 1 or 2 or 3 octave, and then the spread mode as well, alternating, descending, etc. And then you have 3 pages here. So you click here, this is the first page, which you can change for each step. Here, the pitch, the velocity, the probability, and the gate. Click on here, second page, you can change the cutoff, morph, repeat, and tie for the notes. And third page, which I find really interesting, you can change the mix for each of the oscillator, including the sub-oscillator. So you could do things like increasing these to 1, then on the step 2, you go to 1 on the second one, and on the third one, you go to sub-oscillator, then you come back perhaps to oscillator number 3. And if you do it like that, and you enable it, it will move now to enable different oscillator, which of course you need to then bring in, right? In this case, I'm pressing only one note, but is switching on and off the different oscillator in terms of mix. So in this case, we have a sine, perhaps we can go to a triangle here. So you can hear that when it enables oscillator number 2 is higher of 2 octave. You can go to oscillator 3, now enable this one. Why not? We go for an additive FM1. And of course, it depends also on the level of the mix you have here. And this is just one oscillator. You can change the speed, of course. Reduce a little bit the output, but remember you also have a limiter here if you want to change that. That's great. And so if you think about that, you can have then another arpeggiator running, which might be changing, for example, the pitch. Why not? We can go up, for example, 7 there. Down, for example, 3 there. But you can change that even further, right? So it depends really on what you want to do. Let's go even faster on this one. And we can go even faster independently by the others. So you can create very sophisticated texture of sound by where you have independent arpeggiator changing the sound, enabling, disable different oscillator, in some cases changing the pitch, the velocity, etc, etc. So it's a really great synth. Remember, here you have also settings where you can enable how a knob responds. The effect ordering, which is great, you can change that. I really love that. Channel on after the touch, if you want to enable that, yes or no. MPE, do you want that on and off? Number of polyphony goes up to 16th. You can change the display update in frame per second. You can have MIDI control on and off and allow the full screen mode, yes or no. Color scheme editor, you can go into the help menu with a lot of different information. You can go also to the Wavetable Manager, which allows you to create folders, let them rename and load your Wavetable, etc, which then you can use inside here inside your oscillator. And you can reach these the same Wavetable Manager here, clicking and holding, because there is the chevron. symbol there as well. And there are already some included in terms of Wavetable, which is really good. So you can start straight away creating your sounds, your preset. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the introduction to Oscidia from 4Pockets. Fantastic synth from Paul. See you next time. Bye.